Channel as we continue to cover the aftermath of Hurricane Michael. The storm now offshore as a post-tropical system, but the damage has been done across many areas across the U.S. The death toll now standing at 11 as of this morning, and unfortunately now as the sky has cleared, we're seeing the true magnitude of the devastation that has been brought from Michael. And now our Stephanie Abrams was live this morning in Panama City looking at the damage. Let's take a look.
In Panama City, we were in the western eye wall. Our wind gusted 116 miles per hour before the wind instrument failed. So this is the type of damage we had. Did they have winds stronger than that? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. This business has collapsed. There's essentially nothing left from this business. There's some merchandise that has stayed on the shelves in the interior, but really nothing here except for the safe. It's really the only thing that's left standing. And of course, they are sturdy, they are heavy, and the safe is standing while everything is crumbled around it. That's one of several buildings where we are in this strip mall area. There's another one right here behind us. Look at this one, gutted, just completely gutted. That's the front window where you would normally walk in, but as you go to the side, you see the cinder block wall is crumbled, and it's all in piles. And these cinder blocks, as you know, very heavy. Look at that. And this whole wall has been taken out. Looking in, almost unrecognizable. There are some cubicles you can, pick up on some chairs, but you see all the, air duct has been torn apart. The roof is drooping down. And we'll take you real quick to the front just to give you another perspective. And this is all from the wind. This is not from surge. This is not a water issue, okay? So as we take you around, this is just simply wind damage into the inside, just for another perspective, and then we'll leave you at the very end with looking through the roof. You see the blue skies, the cooler temperatures behind the front. The front that swept away this hurricane is leaving us with some cooler air. In Panama City, I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams.
And Verizon has deployed 5 mobile cell sites with satellite connection to assist with recovery efforts. Spots have been deployed to assist Mitchell County, Bay County, EOC and 911 Center, Panama City PD, Panama City Beach PD, and FDOT Chipley office. Additionally, Verizon is contributing $250,000 to the American Red Cross to support recovery efforts. Okay, we want to go ahead and now get a live look from Panama City right now with our meteorologist Reynolds Wolf. And Reynolds, a beautiful day there today, but unfortunately the true magnitude of the aftermath is clear with the sunny skies. Reynolds?
Dr. Navarro, you're absolutely right about that. And what a contrast from high above to the ground below. It's two entirely different worlds. And the world that we're dealing with now is certainly one of just devastation and disbelief for the time being. We've been talking about things that, again, are just so heart-rending. But I gotta share something with you, some information that's truly inspirational. This came in from the U.S. Coast Guard. As of last night, the Coast Guard, amazing men and women, so dedicated to their task. They've rescued 40 people. They've assisted in 232 others, including 142 nursing home patients. So if you're tuning in from parts of the country and you happen to have some loved ones that were in a nursing home you haven't heard from yet, know that there have been quite a few that have been evacuated thanks to the U.S. Coast Guard. Just amazing work. There's no end to the number of heroes that we've run into just over the last several days, and those stories are ones you may never hear. But the ones that we do come upon, we certainly want to share them with you. But there are people out there whose names we don't know, whose faces we haven't seen, that are working right now, doing everything they possibly can to help people they've never even met before. It's very American, unbelievable. It's a great human spirit, no doubt. What we're seeing this morning is just the aftermath, right? But just because the winds have died down, by no means does that mean the story's over. So they're still trying to cope. You look down this roadway, and I'm telling you, off in the distance, you see the blue skies that Dr. Navarro was talking about. Down below, you see the trees that are just shattered in some places. I am no arborist like my buddy Jim Cantori. He's a tree expert. He truly is. But I always thought that the pine trees were a bit more malleable. They could withstand some of the strong winds, but obviously they couldn't. I remember being a kid reading about World War I and the Argonne Forest and how the forest would look like after you had artillery fire that came on through. And you look at this, and it is just shredded. We had one gentleman that made his way up and down Balboa Avenue, came out here because Well, it's his habit. It's what he normally does. He comes here for solace. He comes here to relax and reconnect with nature the best way he possibly can, to recharge the battery, so to speak. Well, the forest that was once here no longer exists. It's as though a giant atmospheric weed eater came through and laid waste to all of it. Some of these trees, small, others, well over a century in age. And everything rendered, gosh, I mean, just knocked over, changed, altered. Unbelievable. And this scene is better than what you'll find in places like Mexico Beach. We had some video that showed you there where the ground in parts of Mexico Beach looks as flat and as barren as this roadway. That's what we're dealing with. And the thing is, this is not one of those deals that by tomorrow you can put a giant Band-Aid on it. Not at all. This is something that is going to take a lot of work, but help is coming in. For those of you maybe tuning in, you're thinking, okay, where's FEMA? Where can we get water? When is our power going to come back on? You've got an army of people that truly care, that are going to try to come and help best they possibly can. We are constantly moving in and out of the way, by the way, on Balboa Avenue because of these vehicles that continue to come through. How you doing, sir? A lot of these, looks like a utility truck right up here, coming on through city services, get out and about. How you doing? And sure enough, it's one after another, just a parade of them coming in. And a lot of these guys who are trained, they've been here. They've seen this kind of stuff before from different parts of the country, different type of events they've been helping to clean up. But still, even the veterans are spellbound by this. They've never seen anything like this. Hell, I'll tell you, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've never seen this kind of damage. It's ridiculous. Let's bring in Dr. Greg Postel for just a moment. It's weird. Let's take a look at the before and after pictures that we have, Dr. Postel, so we can get better an idea to really build the narrative of how this all unfolded and how we're still dealing with it today. Okay, let's do that, Reynolds, and let's look at some of the areas that you were just talking about, Mexico Beach, a little ways to your east, in where the weather and the surge were significantly worse over just a few miles than they were over Panama City. So there's Mexico Beach before Michael. Let me now zoom and scroll by to show you what it looks like now, because the changes are stunning, if not breathtaking, if not essentially unbelievable, because we have nothing left. These homes and these businesses and these lives have been upended forever in many cases. Unfortunately, it's not just here. It extends west and east of Mexico Beach to some degree. So I've never seen a destruction like this, a combination of significant storm surge. That's just water rise of, say, 9 to 13 feet of a wall of water essentially moving in, and then 10 to more 15-foot waves on top of that, in addition to Category 4 and Category 5 wind gusts, probably over 150 miles per hour in some of these areas. When you put all that together, you put together a scene that's like this. And again, I've never seen anything like this. And I've been looking at this stuff for a very, very long time, decades. And hopefully we will never see the likes of Michael again. And if you look at what's left of Michael right now, it is a shell of what it once was. It is now moving away from New England with some gusty winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour and some rain showers. But soon those will be over. A much drier regime is coming in to New England, and that will shut down the rain in just by early afternoon, and then it's gone. And then Michael is gone from North America. They're not gone for good. Let me show you what I mean by that, because nature has a way of holding on to things and balancing things out and preserving systems in certain ways. And Michael, though will be leaving the United States forever, is going to be moving over the North Atlantic over the next couple of days as a gale, as probably with 60 to 80 mile per hour winds and huge waves, a potential real hazard for shipping interests. And then what's left of it is strong low pressure with gusty winds and rain moving into Western Europe, Portugal, and Spain by early next week. So that is the end of Michael for North America, but not the end of Michael for everybody, because probably Western Europe has to deal with some aspect of it in the early week coming up. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Reynolds in Panama City, where the destruction is mind-boggling. Reynolds. Oh, it is. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it truly is mind-boggling for a lot of people, including this great gentleman that I just met a few moments ago. Sir, you're going to have to forgive me. I sleep deprived from Todd, your last name?
Ingram.
Todd, were you here when all this unfolded?
Yes, sir. I was. It was very scary. I will never stay again. Yeah, I had the wife and a buddy that stayed over there that needed a place to hang out, and trees came all around us, and we're pinned in. We can't get off our street and our cul-de-sac right now. We're waiting, and have no way of removing the trees at the time. So.
Now, how long have you lived in this area?
Pretty much for the last 15 years.
I'm not going to insult your intelligence by asking you if you've never seen anything like this before, because I'm sure this is...
I was in Hugo.
Okay, well, there you go.
I was in Puerto Rico when it brushed Hugo, and that was pretty rough, too. So,
what are the next steps for you and your family?
We got a generator, we got food, we got water. We're good. We just got to, if we can get our vehicles out, it'd be nice, so we can go replenish our supplies. But other than that...
You're okay? You have plenty of food, though, for now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks so much for spending some time. I know this is deeply personal for you and your family.
We're good. We're a lot better off than ours. Our house is not didn't sustain that big of damage. We got some small holes in the roof, nothing major. A car damage, but nothing real major at all. So we did pretty good.
Is there anyone that you like to reach out to across America? Is there like some loved ones that may be tuning in right now that you might want to talk to?
I pretty much already have. I spoke to everybody on the phone though, but thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Thanks again for your time.
You're welcome.
Unbelievable. Just trying to make sense of it all and just trying to do something that you do every day, just walk the dog. Well, we were going to be walking our way through some of these neighborhoods where it is a flurry of activity. We had one gentleman that came up and talked to us that what we're seeing right over here is something that has not happened for quite a while. He says it's always been a friendly neighborhood, but this is one of the days where you have people that they see each other, they pass each other in the street, maybe they'll nod or they'll raise a hand, but now they're embraces. Now there's real conversation. Now there is real expression. It's a unification, so to speak. We're going to go now talking about one of the places that was hit especially hard. That is Mexico Beach. Unbelievable, the story that we have there. Leanna Brackett tells the story of what happened to that great town.
The full extent of Michael's fury still being calculated. A Cat 4 storm at landfall. Mexico Beach took the brunt of the eastern eye wall. 150-mile-per-hour winds pushed storm surge onshore, wiping out parts of this beach town.
The entire Highway 98, I can't even see it all the way down past Parker. It's just debris all on the street.
Along the water, few homes left standing. Others pushed right off their foundations. The strongest storm on record to hit the Florida Panhandle, sweeping sand and sea from the beach into spaces where homes once stood.
That's the hardest hit. It's devastated.
Entire rooftops peeled off, one landing on a car. And boats tossed from the water. The town of 1,000 almost impassable, with months and months of rebuilding ahead.
My goodness, what a story. What a story. The story that we have here right along Balboa Avenue in Panama City is one where we see trees knocked over all over the place. It's hard to find the skyline that has been irrevocably changed, no doubt, just over the last couple of days. I was chatting with our sound technician, Zach, and Zach mentioned something that's a pretty good point. He was talking about how some of these trees are lined up so closely together that with that and the sandy soil, almost like a stack of dominoes. I think he brings up a really, really good point. So you'll have one tree that'll get damaged. The weight of that tree, the mass of it, pressed up against another, and it is truly a contagious effect, one after another, after another, after another. Odd things we're seeing, power lines like this one up there, it's meshed together with some of the foliage off the distance. The tree tops are sheared completely, and then you'll see occasionally a couple lines that look A-okay. But look at this too, right here, the anchoring system of these trees. I mean, it takes an awful lot of power to knock over these things. You've got to think that some of these trees are tall like the sails on a clipper ship, and then when you have the wind that picks up and pushes them, goodness, something eventually is going to give. In this case, it was this tree, and clearly it was not alone. Let's make our way back over here if we can. Saw some images of this area from Larry, gentleman who lives right over here in the corner. He was kind enough to bring me into the house for a moment and was showing me some drone footage. And this is a neighborhood that is beautiful, truly spotless. It was then, it isn't now. Now, you'll see Larry over there. He's got the chainsaw. A lot of that noise today, too, and it's all part of the recovery. That's something you do want to hear, so to speak. I mean, you don't want to have the idea of the trees coming down, but this is the tune that they are living with now. That's their music of getting things back to normal. You'll get this intersection right here, and that is just on the intersection of Balboa. And let's see, that is Garden Club. And then over here, you have a Frisbee Golf course that, again, now is just strewn with trees, with branches, with power lines, and memories. It is so eerie. I got to tell you, hearing the birds off in the distance. I mean, it's showing you that there's still some vibrancy, there's still some life here, in spite of all that we're seeing here today. Full coverage on what has happened with Matthew, still the problems that we have up the Carolinas, up and down, and of course, right back here to the coast. Full coverage coming up with a great team of experts. Folks, you want to keep it here on the Weather Channel. But I can tell you the situation here is one where you've got a lot of people working together, doing what they can to just try to support each other and try to make things better. We'll see you after these messages.
With worsening weather patterns, an aging vulnerable power grid, and the growing risk of cyber terrorism, power outages are a part of life now. That can be stressful because we depend on power more than ever. When the power goes out, we lose everything. We can't even charge our smartphones. Now more than ever, you need a Generac automatic home standby generator. With prices starting at just $19.99, you can afford to always have the power you need. With Generac, power stays on in your house, even if you're not at home.
I know that when the power goes out, that Generac is going to kick on and I'm going to have power powering my whole house.
If it's out for 15 minutes or 4 days, we're going to be okay.
We have control over what happens in our lives now.
Generac gives us that peace of mind because it is our power grid.
Call or go online to schedule your free in-home assessment. Generac has more than 5,000 dealers nationwide that will help you select a home standby generator that will meet your needs and fit within your budget. They'll discuss installation and provide you with a comprehensive estimate. It's a totally free assessment with no obligation to buy. Generac's automatic home standby generators start at just $19.99. Special financing is available with affordable monthly payments. Plus, with the Generac mobile link, you can check on your generator anytime from anywhere in the world. With the highest quality construction, exceptional dependability, and state-of-the-art technology, it's easy to see why Generac is the #1 brand of automatic home standby generators in the world. Call or go online to schedule your free in-home assessment. And if you act right now, you'll receive our 7-year extended limited warranty, a $695 value, absolutely free. Control your power and control your life with a Generac automatic home standby generator.
911 emergency.
My husband, he's having trouble breathing.
First responders hear it a lot. And everyone age 65 and older needs to hear it too. The flu and its complications can be deadly, especially for those with a chronic medical condition. That's why there are higher strength flu vaccines for seniors. Ask your doctor or pharmacist for a senior flu shot. Do it today before the flu becomes an emergency.
I'm Kelsey Grammer. My dad was gunned down at his home at the age of 38. 6 years later, my sister Karen was brutally raped and murdered. She was 18. When my father's killer was released, I found out through the National Enquirer. It seemed like a cruel joke. In my sister's case, I have been allowed a voice in the parole hearings of her killers, but that's not always true in Florida. Amendment 6 gives crime victims and their families a voice in the process and the equal rights they deserve. Please vote yes on Amendment 6.
In the 70s, Bill Nelson wears his first suit in Washington, begins unremarkable career. He managed to raise taxes and cut Medicare. Nelson is called an empty suit, adored by big money. Nelson even skips national security briefings and leaves hearings about the algae bloom. After nearly 40 years in D.C., he votes with his party 89% of the time. It's been an empty career, and it's time to retire. Empty suit, Bill Nelson. New Republican PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
4. Call now for your free information kit.
Weather is a great tool in solving crimes, and in this case, help put a murderer behind bars.
Storm of Suspicion. All new episodes Sunday nights at 8.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 60%. Tonight, some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 74. Saturday. Thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 86. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
You are seeing new video from St. Mark's, Florida. Look at this. This is, again, a time lapse that shows the story of storm surge. We often talk about it, but it's true danger, but not always do we have examples to show you. And this is the sledgehammer effect these landfalling tropical systems can have. The surge, just terrifying. Wow, the muscle of that system and the devastation that it brought, the devastation that we're still dealing with today and will deal with for some time to come. Welcome back, everyone. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, coming to you from Panama City, Florida, which if you've not been here for a while, it is a place that has changed, and you can see quite a bit of the change right behind me. We're actually at more of a precise location at the corner of Balboa and Garden Club. If you look over here, one side, you'll notice a couple of these boxes on the ground next to this power line, next to this pole. And for those of you, we had a conversation with a great person from Duke Energy earlier, and she was we were both discussing the issues that folks are having. Obviously, there's the impatience of the customers, which is so understandable. They want their power restored, and at the same time, there's the understanding of why it's so difficult for crews to get out and restore those services. Case in point, you look down this roadway. This road is relatively clear. However, you turn this direction, it is not. So let me get out of the way. Jacques trying to get great images, and here I am jumping in the middle of a shot. You look right here, and it's going to take a bit. Now, off in the distance, you may hear a bit of the breeze, but you're also going to hear the peal of chainsaws every now and again, punctuating the morning sky. And I'll tell you, that's part of the progress. Unbelievable. Now, that's the view from down below, but now we've got some live aerials that we're going to show you from high above looking down. Now, let's see. Live images, and let's see. Well, Lisa Watkins, what location are we talking about? What are we seeing here? Panama City Beach. One thing I got to tell you, Panama City Beach, power is slowly but surely beginning to come back on. But as far as the eye can see, it is a place that is littered with debris. We're here now, and a lot of folks who evacuated, I hate to say it, but by the time they come back, it is going to be altered, no doubt. Let's take a look at this for a moment. And scenes that we're seeing here, the tide, which continues just to roll on in, it's hard to believe. Again, just the water in some respects looks so peaceful compared to the hell that we have on land. Power, as I mentioned, is being restored up and down parts of 38. That is the good news, and that is testament to the hard work, the dedication the power line crews have been doing out there. They've been working around the clock, dedicated to the task at hand. It's so important, as one of the big steps of recovery is to just have those things back, just things like electricity. I can't tell you how important it is for people just to have something like a warm cup of coffee that they can make in their own home, to be able to turn on the light and have it respond with its glow. Things that seem so trivial just say 24 to 48 to 72 hours ago now are so precious. I spoke with one gentleman just yesterday afternoon, and he was talking about how this is really, for him, really pressed the reality button, kind of a reset button, so to speak, to remind him of things that are most important. And Dr. Postel, obviously, we're learning that right now. Let's send it back to Dr. Postel. Again, blue skies, damage below, a lot of work ahead for a lot of people, Dr. Postel.
Yeah, Reynolds, thank you very much. These videos are stunning, spectacular. These are live pictures showing you the damage, not just at the beaches, but inland. This was a windstorm that leveled everything in its path practically, and a reminder that wind is a very, very, very dangerous part of a hurricane, something that you can kind of lose sight of sometimes when you think of these things moving inland.
Yeah, absolutely. And to think there were 100-mile-per-hour gusts plus being reported well away from the coastline, even into the state of Georgia. We had wind gusts upwards of 100 miles per hour. So the wind, a huge part of this system, and of course, that rapid intensification led to those strong winds. And there's some interesting factors observed here that led to that case with Michael here as it approached the coastline, nearly intensifying all the way to that landfall.
Yeah, let's talk about the context, the local climate that Michael was in leading up in the days and weeks leading up to it. It was very warm in the southeastern U.S. If you go to our maps, we had seen record temperatures across much of the southeast for September, and it lingered into October. So the atmosphere was set up for something like this to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the actual numbers, this is through the 10th of October, nearly 13 degrees above average for a widespread area here across the East Coast. This is an exceptional amount of heat for the month of September and heading into October.
And October, a big ridge of high pressure aloft had kept the atmosphere really warm, and it kept the ocean really warm because the atmosphere and ocean are coupled, and the waters leading up to Michael's transit across the Gulf of Mexico were exceptionally warm, way above average in many of these locations. There's Michael's track. The actual numbers were mid to high 80s all the way up to the coast, something you almost never see in October.
Yeah, so usually in the month of October, we get cold fronts that come down, drop into the Gulf of Mexico, bring dry air, and help cool those ocean temperatures, especially close to the coastline. That wasn't evident here in this case.
Those warm waters gave Michael fuel that it would never see in practically any other October. With the pressures in the hours leading up to landfall still tanking, this was a remarkable event.
Absolutely. One we'll be talking about for quite some time. Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and get you back out to those live aerials here. This is a look at Panama City Beach in Florida. Just widespread devastation in this area here. Just tremendous, looking at all the downed trees. You can see people here that are coming to survey the damage. Potentially this is their home that they're going back into.
Yeah, and notice that the roads are all covered in trees and downed power lines. It is exceptionally hard to move around in still. Something that we will be dealing with for weeks, months, maybe even years to come.
You're headed down the highway when the guy in front slams on his brakes out of nowhere. You do too, but not in time. Hey, no big deal. You got a good record, and Liberty Mutual won't hold a grudge by raising your rates over one mistake. You hear that, Karen? Liberty Mutual doesn't hold grudges. How mature of them.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise their rates because of their first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
If a dirty CPAP is making you sick, you're not alone.
I was getting sinus infections because I wasn't cleaning my CPAP properly, and that continued until I got my SoClean.
SoClean is the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria that can build up in your mask, hose, and reservoir.
I don't have to push a button or anything. I just put the mask in the chamber, close the lid, and it runs automatically. SoClean has been a lifesaver.
SoClean works on all